Having fun?
What's that?
Having fun?
Gotta go fishing.
Hey everybody, Saturday morning. I was hoping to get out here a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, I have to work and make a video to the hum of the wood planer. Brian's planing all the wood for the doors on the sugar shed. But as I was kind of getting ready to work outside this morning, I was thinking about like what I like to wear when I'm working. And honestly, if I could pick one type of clothing, it would be my work clothes all the time. I have a horrible tendency, actually, we both do, to like wear nice clothes to say work or something, and then come home and just start working, and then we trash our clothes. And so I modified my t-shirt. So my friend Deanna has a business called For Nature Gardening. I'll link it in the description box below if you're in the city of Court Lakes area. And I saw her with these really cool t-shirts. I was like, dude, I love your shirts. Do you order them like that? And she says, no, I cut the sleeves off. So I modified my shirt this morning and I'm digging it. I don't like the restricted feeling of clothes. I know that sounds silly. That's gonna be annoying. But I really like this. My challenge here today is I'm working on my farmer's tan. I've started to develop one already, as you can see. But the black flies are still going strong. So I brought my bug jacket just in case. And I have a ton of planting to do today. I have to get the saddest looking tomatoes in the ground. These are the worst tomatoes I've ever grown, but I know they're gonna be okay once they go in the ground. I've got my marigolds, all my herbs, all my hollyhocks that are gonna go along the back of the garden and then over by the outhouse. They all have to go in the ground. And then I have so many seeds I want to plant. So the only thing I'm not really gonna plant today are the peppers, because they need temperatures above 10 degrees Celsius nighttime, consistent. Peppers do not like the cold. So I've been bringing them out in the daytime, but bringing them in at night. So yeah, I'm just gonna get going here. Everything else in the garden that I planted already seems to be doing okay. I've been watering here and there because we haven't gotten a lot of rain. But it's off to the races, and I'm not going to put mulch on right until before we go away this year to try and keep the slugs down, because we have had wicked slug problems. And that's one of the things you will have when you have a lot of mulch, when you hold the moisture and when you provide a habitat for those little suckers. So yeah, I'm just gonna get to it here, because I don't really want to sit around and chat when I know the black flies are just gonna get worse. One thing I do want to talk about are some of these seeds that I'm going to be planting, especially the bean seeds, because they're from my friend Melissa. So one of the varieties is called Canadian Wonder, and they are, let me just open and show you. They're these beautiful red kidney beans. I am so excited to grow these. They are the most gorgeous beans. I have like a problem with beans. I freaking love them. I have so many beans. And of course, because Melissa is a seed gal, all of these are labeled with names. So these are Happiest Shield Figure Bean Climbers. Look at those beauties. Oh, they're so beautiful. Oh my gosh, they are just so beautiful. So I left most of my trellises empty. I am going to plant Trail of Tears again. Oh, cranberry bean. Oh my gosh, like seriously? Look at those. Bumblebee? Come on. Who doesn't want to grow bumblebee beans? Oh, look at those. Oh, so pretty. Yeah, okay. So those are the main ones. Oh, and then as I was leaving, her mom suggested I grow some of these soup beans. So I have some of these soup beans that I'm going to put in the ground. So literally I am going to be growing a ton of beans, which I love because they are They store really well. These are all dry bean varieties. They store really well. You can make a bunch of different dishes with them, and they're really good for you. So there's are 3 good reasons why you should all grow some variety of dry beans, whether bush or climber. Okay, look. One of my little marigolds is blooming already. So pretty. I'm gonna have some color in the garden. All right, here we go. Tomatoes first. I'm actually gonna grow my tomatoes on opposite sides of the street this year. Usually I plant them right beside each other, but I am going to plant them one side and the other, and I'm gonna try and squeeze them all in 2 beds. So I'm probably gonna plant them a little bit too close together, but c'est la vie. My secret weapon for planting tomatoes. So I've seen people say that they plant whole eggs in the tomato planting hole. I don't do that. I did it one year, I think, and I didn't see any difference, but I have always added some source of calcium. So some years I have ground up zebra mussel shells, but this year I've just been keeping all of my chicken eggs and just ground it into a fine powder. Looks like that. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, and I'll sprinkle a little bit of that in the planting hole as I go. This year, what I think I'm going to do with the tomatoes is actually stagger them. So different varieties all over the place, just for a little bit of interest. Now for the herbs. All that green you see is cilantro, so needless to say, I'm not planting any cilantro, but everything else is going in, and I'm gonna plant it thick in there. Basil, oregano, parsley, thyme, I think that's it. Oh, calendula. Change plans. I ran out of battery, so I did this part without you, but I'm going to show you what I did. So all along here are the hollyhocks. So those 2 big ones, those couple bushes of big ones are the ones from last year, and then I put all the new ones along here. The only thing I'm worried about is the chickens coming and scratching them up, but it's going to be exciting. So we have tree swallows in all of those houses, so I tried to do this really quickly, so I wasn't bothering them too much. But now I have to go over to the outhouse. First I need to weed whip around it, so line clear and get some of the weeds down, and then I'm just going to go get those plants in as fast as I can. It's not a huge job, but then I'm going to be done. So my change of plan is that I'm not going to plant any of my seeds today because I'm running out of gas, which is totally fine. I have other projects that I can work on, and I'll probably plant them, like a couple of, types of beans or whatever, every night after work until it's done. So let's go weed whip. Okay. Oh, it's getting warm out here. So I have 6 hollyhocks left. It turns out they're all black. I thought I had more pink, but I didn't. Or maybe I gave them away. Who knows? Doesn't matter. These are going to be really cool. They're almost like a really dark purple. So I'm going to slam these in the ground, water them in, and then I think I'm going to call it a day for outside chores until it cools off this afternoon, like this evening. I still have a lot of firewood to stack. We have firewood to cut, and I think Brian also wants to work on the sugar shed doors. Okay, so the reason why I'm planting, because I said it in other videos, but if you didn't see them, the reason why I'm planting hollyhocks is because in the olden days, when all people had to rely on, when there was no indoor plumbing, were outhouses, they marked the outhouse with hollyhocks so that people knew where the outhouse was. Good luck, little plants. Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful morning. It's June 1st. Happy June. And we are currently in the middle of a wicked heat wave, like wicked. Yesterday it was 31, felt like 33, and it's been like that all week. No rain in the forecast. It's brutal. It's brutal for all the animals. It's brutal for the plants. Most of them aren't even hardened off yet, which isn't a big deal. But it's just so unseasonable. So this morning, it's about 6 a.m. I need to water. So Brian is just gone to pump to basically fill the totes so that I can fill my little waterer by the garden. And I think I'm going to try and squeeze in watering the shrubs that we planted as well as the trees, because those need to get watered as well. They're still flushing. So yeah, it's just nuts, but gotta let the chickaroos out. Good morning. Hi, Whitey. Hugh got in the garden with me and I was chasing him out, and I didn't hurt him, but he got his spur caught on something and it tore off, and I was gardening and I found this chicken spur, so I was all excited, and then I realized it was poor Huey. So he's down a spur. He's just got like a little nub there, but it was very interesting. Ooh, I can already feel that it is going to be a super scorcher today. So just as I watered, I was making some observations about the garden. First of all, we are going to be dealing with slugs again this year. And that is because I mulch so heavily. But this year, I'm doing something a little bit different. I haven't put, my glasses are fogging up. I haven't put the mulch back around the plants, which I normally do. I usually do that so I don't have to weed, but I'm trying to pick the lesser of the evils. Weeding is not as bad as losing, your food to pests. So I did read that, or I read that wood ash helps to deter slugs. So I am going to sprinkle some of that around the plants. But yeah, we're going to be dealing with that. I have to get the row covers on them soon because I saw a cabbage white butterfly flying around the other day. So that'll be next on the list. And then we need to put the irrigation tape in so that we're ready for that. But these early morning waterings are so awesome. The birds are singing. Aside from the heat, I would imagine it's already up a couple of degrees since I even came out. So it's good that the plants are getting watered right now. And that'll be good for probably a couple of days. And then maybe hopefully next week we'll get the irrigation. Hey everybody, it is 6 p.m. same day, and it was a scorcher today. Right now it's still 32 degrees and it's June 1st. Just nuts. And I am a fair person, like skin. I don't know what other descriptor I was thinking about there. And I do not like the sun or the heat. Like I like it because it grows things, but I just don't manage it well. Like my body doesn't like it. So I'm out here trying to correct. See, look at that farmer's tan. If a farmer's tan makes you a farmer, then I'm a farmer because I busted out a pretty good farmer's tan. Yeah, so I'm out here tonight. The other night I came out for about 5 seconds because I wasn't good with the heat. Broke a sweat just standing here thinking and went back inside. Yes, my air conditioning is on. I'm not afraid to admit it. I need to sleep at night. But tonight, these seeds are going in the ground and it's going to be super willy-nilly. Nothing this year has been super thought out or planned. And I think I'm okay with that. No, I am okay. I don't think I'm okay. I am okay with that because I know that something is going to grow. I already have a lot of stuff in the ground. I just watched another friend of mine via the internet, Amy down in, I think she's in Guelph. She just did a tiny little garden tour and was talking about this product that she's trialing. And I was laughing because I'm in, what am I in? I'm in 5A and she's in 6A or I can never remember. I should know that. Anyways, her plants are gigantic. And I'm thinking about my puny little brassicas and she's got like broccoli heads already coming up to head. So that's pretty awesome. But anyways, we are rocking and rolling here a little bit further north and just doing what we can this year and getting some stuff in the ground. The garlic looks fantastic. So that is always gives you hope when you're looking around the garden and it's looking pretty sparse. The garlic always puts a smile on my face. So let's get rolling here. The other night I also came in, I'll show some of that footage, but I came in and I pulled some of the mulch back. So I wasn't sure last year if I was going to plant a gigantic garden or a garden at all. So mostly the seeds I'm going to plant here tonight are beans. I have this like serious bean fetish where like all the bold and the beautiful I want to plant. So I'm going to plant all beans tonight. Dragon's tongue, of course, a couple of other bean varieties from my friend Melissa, but I had to pull all the mulch back off the beds to let the soil warm before I planted the bean seeds. Next week, the temperature is supposed to moderate, thank goodness, because honestly, I'm melting. You know what I also see here? That little hole. Who knows who lives down in there? Maybe a chippy? We'll keep an eye out in here. I often talk about farm fashion. Today I got my lucky shorts on. So I have been wearing these shorts easily 15 years. And you can see up close, lots of patching, but they are like threadbare. But check it out. That is not mendable, I don't think, because there's not enough like fabric to tie it to. But these are like my lucky plant out shorts and I just can't like emotionally part with them yet. So I still wear them proudly. Here's my work Crocs. Thanks, Mom. These are like 15 or more years old. The bottom of the soles is wearing so thin there's like holes in some spots, but that's okay. It all works because today it's all about, well, I can't really see it. It's all about the farmer's tan. One other thing I'm going to tell you, and this isn't going to be popular. Plug your children's ears. I hate sunscreen. I really do not like it. I'll put it on and then I'll think of any reason why I shouldn't go take, I gotta go take a shower and get it off. It's so gross. It's like, ugh. I don't use creams or lotions or anything like that typically because I don't like it. So I come out and I have a little bit of sun and then you'll see me wear this old kind of dress shirt, bigger dress shirt. It used to be my dad's, so there's sentimental value, but also it's mostly because of sun. So instead of using sunscreen, I will cover up or wear big hats or whatever the case may be because I just can't handle sunscreen. Ooh, I know it's not good, but I can't see me changing. Not gonna lie, sometimes this YouTube jazz is for the birds. So I was making a video of all the different bean varieties I was planting, and I put it in time lapse. So I'm sitting here like, and that's probably what I sound like most of the time. However, you couldn't understand anything I was saying because I was talking 1,000 miles a minute. So just to recap, the black flies out here, I thought the heat was gonna like fry them all, but didn't at all. So what are we doing here? Wait, I just put the beans in my pocket. Okay, so I've already planted a couple of varieties of beans in the last couple of days. I came out the one day, like I said, and like ran back inside because the heat was killer. But I do want to show you the different varieties of beans that I'm going to be growing because they've been gifted from my friend Melissa, who is a wicked gardener, seed person extraordinaire, seed scientist, actually. And so the one I'm about to plant is a bush variety. It's called Canadian Wonder. It's from the Morden breeding program from the 1960s. Super cool. And it is, like I think I said, a bush variety. So here is what that bean looks like. Super red, or what is that color? Maroon, burgundy, totally gorgeous. So I am going to sow this in a second, but what I have already sown, because I should tell you what I already planted. So Cherokee Trail of Tears. This was new for me last year. Has an amazing story or background, so you should definitely check it out. I got these from Seed Savers Exchange. So this is what the beans look like, and these are the bean pods, the actual bean themselves, and the beautiful flower. And they are a climber. So I planted them. I planted some of my absolute faves. So the purple potted pole bean. These are absolutely gorgeous on a trellis because they're purple and they hang down, and the flowers are beautiful. The flowers are purple as well. So a real stunner in the garden, and absolutely delicious, like super tender beans. They come in second as far as my favorite, like string bean or French bean, to the dragon's tongue, which let me get to. I already planted them and that's the one you may have missed also because I filmed it incorrectly, is the dragon's tongue bean. So these are absolutely stunning beans as well. And the trick to this bean is not waiting till they get too big to harvest them. So making sure that you harvest them as soon as kind of they get to a reasonable size. Don't let them get big and fat because they get like super chewy and stringy. But this is my absolute favorite, like steam bean. I was saying in the video that I botched, I had these. What are the other ones? Oh no. And these cranberry beans, the last time I planted out, because I've already planted these as well. Like, look at these. Oh, they're so pretty. They are like the darkest purpley red. They're so gorgeous. I had them out, and for some reason I picked up the package the wrong way and they all spilled out. And you would have sworn I spilled gold on the ground. I was down on my hands and knees. In fact, I probably would care less about gold. I was like making sure that I didn't miss one seed. So these I am sowing sparingly. I usually sow them pretty thick and then thin them, but I'm not doing that with these because I only have a limited amount. So I'm fingers crossed that they come up and I don't have to thin too much. So those have already all gone in the ground. So let's plant. I'm going to finish planting these ones here. But just before I do, I just want to talk quick about my bed prep. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, just so that you know kind of what I'm working with here. So I have all in-ground gardens, which means I garden straight into the soil on the earth. They are not raised bed. And I have been building this soil in this large garden for 3 years now. And the right side of my garden for 8 years. So gardening is always a work in progress because you're always adding back. You want to add back what you've taken from the soil. So you really have to think about amending and adding back organic matter to feed the soil microbe community to keep a kind of healthy ecosystem in your soil. And that's what gives you great plants. So at the end of last season, I didn't think that I was going to be growing a garden this year or much of one anyway. So I top dressed heavy. I added a ton of compost. I added a ton of rabbit manure, which is cold compost. So you can garden in it straight away. You can grow in it right away because they digest their food basically twice. So I topped with that, and then I topped with an extra layer of coop clean out that was not fully composted, but I knew if it went over winter and then had the spring, it'd be okay. And then on top of that, either composted hay or straw. So I've got a lot of organic matter kind of pulled off to the side, so you can see kind of down there, all of that is basically going to sit out in the aisles until I'm ready to kind of mulch around the plants. And I'm going to delay that this year because last year I dealt with a wicked slug problem. So I just finished telling you about Amy's video, and she's trialing a product from her friend that is basically the byproduct of sheep wool harvesting. And it is used as a natural fertilizer, but it is also said to repel slugs. So hopefully, if that is a great product, I'll try and get some of that at some point and put around the plants to try and deter the slugs, because they are abundant. And that is because I provide the perfect habitat or ecosystem for them to reproduce. And that's what gardening is, right? It's just basically a controlled ecosystem when you're trying to grow food, but control the amount of animals that are eating your plants aside from you. So, you know, I like organic gardening, but it can be quite challenging when you're dealing with pests. So that's a product I'm really excited about. So I hope to hear good things from Amy. I'll link her YouTube in the description box below in case you want to go check it out for yourself, because I can't remember the name of the company, but her garden is like a rock star right now. So it's yeah, pretty impressive when I look at like empty beds. So I know we're in different zones, but still it's funny. All right, let me get to planting this. Okay, one of the next varieties I'm going to plant is called Bumblebee, and this is a bush bean. And they're really cute too. They kind of look like the other one, the hilum. So that's this little dot there. That is where the bean is actually attached to the pod. It's got that coloration around the hilum. So it is another really pretty kind of bean, and I'm going to plant it in this row here. And then I have, I think, just one other variety left to plant of the beans in this row. And I prepped a whole other bed, so not sure what I'm going to do there. Maybe sunflowers. That might be pretty. Okay, let me get these in the ground. The heck am I thinking these days? Now I have a trellis free, and I'm not sure what I didn't plant, so I'm going to have to go over it. But the last thing I am going to sow are, I think this says Hudavite soup bean bush 2022 crops. So these bush beans. So I'm just going to sow a little patch of them here. And then might put another row over here. Not sure yet, but I'm definitely going to sow them right here. Let's put in some of these nasturtiums. Go around the town and sow some of these. I was making a little dish tonight for dinner, and I grated my knuckle with the cheese grater. So I usually don't garden in gloves at all, but gloves seem to be my thing this year. Have any of you ever planted one of these before? The cards that have the seeds. This one's from my mom, and it says to cover with 1/8 of an inch of soil and keep moist until seeds establish. Is it going to be wildflower seeds? Makes me kind of nervous because I don't want to put it in my garden. Might have to think about this one for a little bit longer. Yeah, thinking about it. Look at this massive package of sunflower seeds. Where am I putting that? Maybe I'm going to plant some out behind my hollyhocks. That's a good idea. I know where I'm going to plant my zinnia and my marigolds. I think the marigolds can go in right now. I'm just going to toss some of them in because I have a whack of them. And last year I threw a bunch down and they all germinated. It was crazy. There were so many. So literally, this is my scientific way of storing them in a paper towel. I should have bought a sunflower mix. I'm regretting that now because last year I did and I loved it. Oh my gosh, I had one of those teddy bear sunflowers and it was so pretty. And this year, all I got was the large gray stripe, which are gorgeous. I do have a few volunteer sunflowers that I'm leaving, but it's not going to be the show that it was last year. Lesson learned. This is pretty exciting. Look at this. Look at how big the garlic is. That's a win. I think that's it for tonight. I'm toasty. I need a drink of water. I didn't bring any water. I have a bad habit of doing that. So I'm going to go in, get a drink. But just before I go in, I'm going to plant out some sunflowers in between the hollyhocks that I planted along the back of the garden. I grow sunflowers mainly because they make me smile, but also they're great for the birds in the fall and winter time. They absolutely love them and devour them. So I'm gonna do that and then I'm going in. Actually, no, I gotta water all these seeds in and then I'm going in. Okay guys, I'm gonna get those seeds planted, watered in and call it a night. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and we'll see you next time.